Hello guys, so this is Raman and I welcome you to Learn with Tech Labs. So this video is going to be about how do you deploy Autopilot with Microsoft Intune. So here I'll be showing there are two ways to join or to configure Autopilot. First one that I will show is with uh, Autopilot AD join, which is going to be when the machine is you're not adding the machine to your local AD, you're directly joining the machine to, it's a cloud-based machine and joining directly to a cloud, and that is Intune to be precise. So what we can do is, as you can see that I'm currently logged on to the endpoint uh, manager for Microsoft, which is the new portal for Intune. Now, so if I go to portal.azure.com, so yeah, let me go to Azure Active Directory. Then what we can do is just go to MDM, and here you can go to Microsoft Intune and check that uh, this is the configuration for MDM mobile device management. I have selected this for all users, but if you want you can just choose some users or add a group to it. Okay, so there's company branding that you can perform, like there's a default branding, so you can edit that. As you can see that I have added some configurations here. This is my logo and you can choose whatever you want. So when the user will have this out of the box experience for with Autopilot, he will see this icon, it is as a customization that you can do for your company branding. Let me close it. All right, so now uh, in our case, so we have we will be joining a virtual machine. So here's a Microsoft article, uh, and it's about OME registration. So what happens is, uh, let me just go to devices, and go to Windows enrollment. So now two things, this should be enabled, which I have already shown you that you know see, this MDM should be enabled, which is auto enrollment. Now the second thing you want to check out is, let me go to Windows enrollment again. uh, so the second thing which I will be showing is deployment profile. So when you want to have this autopilot experience for the user, then you can join, you need to create a profile. In our case I have created one, so let me show you what all I have defined in it. So here are some properties of it that you can go through. So the deployment mode here is user driven. The join type is Azure AD. So like I said, it can be Azure AD or it can be hybrid, uh, hybrid joint machine. But that for hybrid joint machine, I will show you in a different video. Here operating system is system default that I have chose. Uh, there are other settings as well, like hide. If you want to hide the account options, then you can do that for the user. I have added a group to it. So if you want only certain devices to be auto deployed, then you can choose. You can add a group and add devices to it. Now, as you can see right now, there are no devices added to it. So there's a way to do it. So if you go to devices and Windows, and then again Windows devices. I'm sorry. Let me go to devices, home, devices, then Windows enrollment. So here, so now if you can see in the screen, it is Windows Autopilot devices. So there is a way of adding the devices that you want to have autopilot or out of the box experience. So what you can do is you can import the serial number of the device so to here in this portal, and this device can be added in this autopilot device option. So what we need to do is, so there are two ways basically. In our environment, it's a test environment, so I will be showing you with a virtual machine. But in a production environment, what happens is the vendors like Dell, HP, the company can work with them. So what will happen is either they can give you a CSV of the machines that you're buying from them that will have a serial number, manufacturer, model, so forth, and so on and so forth. But for our uh, you know demonstration, we will refer this article for OOBE registration. So there's a process to it. Basically, there's a simple command or a script that you need to run that will export a CSV. Okay, so let me just go to my machine. So as you can see, this is my Windows machine that I have deployed for just a second. All right, sorry for that. So all right, so here's a script that we need to run to get that serial number out of that Windows machine. So this machine is a latest install, and it is not joined to any domain yet. So what I can do is just run this command here. I'll rather just copy it. I'll go to PowerShell. I'll run it as an admin. All right. Let me press yes. I wanted unrestricted. Now the script is running. I'm again gonna press X and allow it access. All right. Let's just wait for it to complete. Let me again press yes. So these are just sets of it's a yes or no thing if I want to do it or not. Now you can see that it's asking me if it should output this to a CSV. I'm gonna press enter. So it will create a CSV file that will have look at this. Now here's the serial number, and what I can do is I can just go to my C drive where it is, where I should find the Excel. Alright, let's go. Alright, so here's my CSV. I don't have Excel installed on this virtual machine, so I'll just copy it. Let me close it, and now I will paste it in my base machine. Let me go to Azure. Okay, here it is. Let me import that file. It's a very nice feature. Let's do that. Documents. It should be in the desktop. So Autopilot. So here that you can see it is formatted correctly. So this basically the coders have designed it such a way that the serial number or the Excel that is generated, it will conform to what they have set. So let me import it. So yes, so let's go to devices, and as we can see that our VM, the virtual machine, has been synced or added here to Windows Autopilot devices. Now, as you can see that the profile status is assigned, it is because if you remember in the beginning of this video, I've created one, deployment profile, and I've added this machine to that deployment profile. Also, I wanted to, while it was being added, I have also done one thing. I have assigned this. Uh, let's just assign a user to it first. I think it's not been assigned yet. So let me just assign a user to it. See, all right. So I'm gonna just save it. All right. So it says autopilot device has been updated. Okay. All right. Let's go. So what will happen when we assign the user? So the moment we turn on the machine, or the end user will turn on the machine, he will get a you know a prompt or a friendly welcome message that, hey Marshall, welcome to this whatever your organization is. In my case, it should be Raman's lab. So we'll check that, and that depends upon what I've defined in the company branding. I should see that logo initially that I, assigned in that policy. Now, if I go to the deployment profile again, so let's go to Windows enrollment and deployment profiles here. So here you can see that, sorry, let's go to Windows. Then let's go to Windows enrollment and go to deployment profiles. So here it is, Windows Auto Deployment Profile. Now, if I click here to see its properties, you can see that this is for AD joint only. There is no hybrid thing involved. The deployment mode is user driven. What I want you to see is these two things, like the Microsoft license. This is hidden. This will be hidden, so I'm not sure if that's legal or not, but if it is, then it's a Microsoft product. So we can choose whether just edit it, and we can choose whether this should be uh, reflected or shown to the user or not. Like privacy settings, that's also hidden in my case. User account type, I can define it's a standard or an administrator. So for this demo, I have chosen it as a standard. Now, included groups, like so I've created a group called devices, and I have added uh, that virtual machine that I have enrolled in auto deployment to this group. So that's why here, if I go to assign devices, here you can see that at the serial number and the manufacturer, and it's giving us that it's a VMware machine. So that's fine. Uh, so let me show you also that group which I have created and added to that policy. So the group is, I think it's devices, and I have added, if I go to members, you can see that this VMware machine is added to this. And also, let me show you that if I go to devices again and then Windows enrollment deployment profile, here I can see just I wanted to focus on this assign to, that this is the same group that I have, the devices group that I've created, and it is saying that one devices is assigned to it. So this is the policy, or you can say the profile I have created. In Microsoft terms, it's a profile, deployment profile, and I added this machine to this profile. now we are ready to go and experience that, out of the box experience. So let me just do one thing. So before I get that experience, so let's say this is my, uh, Windows 10 machine that I have set it up for auto deployment. Before I do that, I need to just, because I have already taken the serial number from it. So let's say a scenario is the user lives in a remote location, or and it's a corona time. So what the logistic can do, they can just take this machine and ship it to the user. So once the user gets this machine, he will open it, he will run it, and he will get that out of the box experience. So all the configuration policies will be configured for him. Any apps that needs to be deployed, they will be automatically deployed, and the machine will be automatically be managed or enrolled in Intune, okay, without any user intervention. So first it will be joined to Azure AD, then it will be enrolled for Intune, and that is completely automatic. No user intervention is required in this. So before I do that, let me just reset this machine. Sorry, that should be settings. All right. Maybe I need to increase the RAM of this machine. I've given it 1.5 GB, but I will increase it to 2 later to get a faster experience. So let me just search something like reset PC. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm just gonna reset this PC here. So it's giving me two options: keep my files or remove everything. So I'll just remove everything, my personal settings, files and apps. So I'll just do that. Let's wait for it to complete. In the meantime, okay, let this complete, I guess. Let's wait for it to complete, and I'll be back. So my machine has restarted, and it's rebooted and reset as is done also. So as we can see that we are getting this option, to enter my password. Here you can see my Office 365 email address, and if you remember, if you're following me, then I did assign a user to this virtual machine. You know, so it says hi Marshall. So the user I created was Marshall Mathers, and I assigned him a license for Intune and Office 365, and I also assigned it a machine. So if you remember here, let me show you very quickly. If I go to Intune now, let me go to the endpoint manager. Let's just quickly see your device. So here I can go to Windows, then Windows enrollment and devices. So this is the option for autopilot devices. Now if you see, I did assign a user to it, and it says Marshall user friendly name, and the user is Slim Shady at Nitro R5.onmicrosoft.com. So because of this, I'm getting this very cool feature. When user opens the laptop, he will directly see the company logo. He doesn't have to do anything, just I'll just enter my password here, and I should be able to log on. So now it's asking me to change my password, so I'll just enter my current password. I'll enter a new password. Sorry. Alright, so let me just sign in. So not only it will update my password to Office 365, it is also joining my machine to Azure AD, so and also rolling it to the Intune. So check that in the portal as well. So now it's setting up my devices. One more thing I wanted to highlight is when we created this deployment profile for us, not iOS, it's Windows and Windows enrollment and then deployment profiles. So description is, as you can see, it's already is explained. Now if I go to properties, and if I edit this, okay, so this is not the option I'm looking for. Let me just go back to the compliance policies, or the configuration policies rather. If I create a new policy and choose Windows 10 and later, let's say, so these are some templates and other settings that I can apply to the machine. Okay, so there's a bunch of options that I can choose, like device restriction, domain join. There are many, like certificate based, if I want to push the certificates. And let me just cancel it for now, and let's come to configure compliance policies. Let me select Windows 10 and later, and if I click on create, it will create one for me. Now let me give it a name, like compliance. Let's click on next. So here I will also get some options, like if the device requires a BitLocker, I can choose it. Device properties, I can choose which OS version, I can just define here minimum and maximum OS version. uh, there's so many like settings which you can choose and decide what you want for your environment. If I go to let me just cancel it and go to apps. Now if you want, so if you can see, this machine has been set up, and what I wanted to show you is, if I go to apps and if I add an app, it will give me an option. So I have deployed a Windows machine, so I will deploy Windows 10. So it's giving me an option if I want to install Office 365 apps. So if I enable this, the moment user logs onto the machine to get an out-of-the-box experience, this will start installing in the machine automatically. The user won't be won't be required to go and portaloffice.com and download the software that he needs. So and based on this, we can define if if certain apps are installed, so the device can be compliant. If certain things or policies are not, machine is adhering to, then it can be non-compliant. So you will see that in Azure portal, that if a device is compliant or not, and that can be based on if that machine has certain software that we have pushed from Azure to the machine and it's installed or not. So there are other options as well, like if you want to install Windows app 32, so I'll just click that and I will select it. So now it's giving me an option to like select a package file, and so I can just browse. I don't have any, so I won't be able to install a package file, but it's working in a way like a group policy that we have uh, in in AD environment. So the same way we can assign a package here and that will be deployed to your machine. Let me just go to app and Windows, sorry, apps, Windows. Alright, if I click on add, I'm going to select something. Okay, so let's choose store app for instance, and let's say select. Now it's giving me options like app store URL. Here I can directly put the app store URL, and that particular app will be installed in the machine. So there are a bunch of options. So basically you can decide web link is there, Windows 10 is there if you want to install Edge. So you can decide what exactly you want, or you have custom options as well. Like I said, if we want to go to line of business apps, so here Windows MSI VPX. If you have the bundle, you can just upload it here and that will be pushed to your machine. Now for this demonstration I have not added any, so let's say if I have added the Office 365 app or any other app, I would see that in the task manager. So it's giving me more information is required. Let's click on next. So it's asking me to set up the multi-factor authentication. So this feature is not, this MFA is not coming from the MFA that we set normally. This is coming from this, let me show you. So if I go to home, dashboard, where's the option? Okay, let me go to devices, uh, Windows enrollment. Now this is a Windows Hello for Business feature that you're getting, you know, there in the uh, virtual machine. Okay, so here it's asking me to set up a MFA multi-factor authentication. I'll just select my country, which is India. All right, I'll put in my mobile number. Okay, let's see if we get the message. Alright, so I've got the message. Let me just enter it. Oh, let's see what's the issue is. Okay, this should work. Alright, it's done. So I was saying that had I configured any app here in the apps option. So let's say that if I have installed some app here, then I would definitely see this app in the task manager. So while it's being installed, so it's a like background or a silent installation. A user won't see it unless he goes to the task manager to see which process is running. Let me confirm that. Right. Now a couple of things I want to show you. Let's say that it's set up. I'll click on OK. Now, as you can see that as I reset the machine, so it has gone back to the default setting. Now let me just quickly increase sorry. So I just want to increase its resolution, and this should be fine. All right, let me pull the full screen mode here. Okay, now I wanted to show is if I go to my settings, all right, and if I go to accounts, now it may or may not come right now because the machine is just joined. So let's see. So let's here you can see that I'm connected to Azure AD, right? Okay, so that's what I wanted without any user intervention. The device is connected to Azure AD. It's a Azure AD joined machine, and if I go to my uh, sorry, okay, if I go to my info here, you can see that I'm being logged in as Slim Shady at nitror5.microsoft.com. So what this means is when does a device get Azure AD joined? So the answer to this is when the user logs on with his or her Office 365 credentials, all right, to log on to the Windows machine, and then the machine becomes an Azure AD joint. Otherwise, if the user uses, let's say I have a personal machine and I'm using a local admin account or local user account, and now it's being uh, I have gone to access work and school and I've connected this to an Office 365 account, then this will become a Azure AD registered device. This won't be a Azure AD joined machine. Okay, so two things, and there's also a command that you can run. Let me show you that. So the command is dsregcmd status. So here, let's see what do we have here. All right. So important thing is it is a Azure AD join machine. All right. Now I want you to see this Azure AD PRT, which is a token when the user logs on to using Office 365 credentials, he should get a token. So this is the token that machine got with respect to the user. Okay. So PRT, it's a refresh token. Now, as you can see that if the device was not an MDM managed or an MDM enrolled machine, then you wouldn't be seeing this mobile device enrollment URL or the discovery URL. You wouldn't see any of these URLs. So these are the endpoints that the device connect to get to get enrolled. Now it is Azure AD joined, that is fine. These are the URLs, auth code URL, token URL, so everything is fine. Now let's go back to our portal.azure.com. Let me just close it. All right, let me go to devices. Now as you can see that all right, so these two machines that you see, they are like this Windows 10 machine. This is a hybrid AD joint machine, so it is connected to both local AD and Azure AD, so it's a hybrid machine. All right, and this autopilot is the one that we have joined. Okay, autopilot D for device, and it is compliant. The management name is here, the user who's logged on. In reference to that, it's coming. The serial number of the machine is there. Okay, So these are all MDM enrollment. So I was talking about uh, the hybrid join machine, which I will be showing in another video. This is strictly for this particular video was strictly for to show, Azure AD join machine and how this works. uh, there's a different method for enrolling or autopiloting in a way hybrid AD join machine that I will be showing later in a later video. So yeah, what I was showing was, if I go to portal.azure.com, so here you will see, let me just quickly go to Active Directory Azure AD, and let's quickly go to devices here. So now I can see that there are three devices. So this is Autopilot. It has a different what do you say, different logo, different icon. Okay, it's a Azure AD joint machine. I also have hybrid joint machines like this, and this particular is a server, so it's not enrolled, but these two devices are are surely enrolled, and they are hybrid joined. So these hybrid joined and machines are also enrolled to Microsoft Intune, which is a mobile device management from Microsoft, and it was an auto enrollment feature that we have available here in Intune. So I go to Windows enrollment. So if you see here auto enrollment, which is enabled. So there are two options now. If I want that all the devices should be, or some of the devices should be enrolled to Intune. Now what I can do, what it gives me, it gives me a simpler change management. So let's say that if I go to devices, then Windows, and Windows enrollment, devices. All right, so if I select this, I can see I have options here: assign, refresh, delete. But I don't want to do all that. What I want to do is, when let's say the user terminated, and we have to give this machine to a different user, what we can do, we can use autopilot feature called autopilot reset. Once we hit that button, so what will happen, the machine will go back to default, and again I will assign this machine to a different user. And what will happen, the user again turns on the machine after resetting, and he will get a new OOBE experience. So no IT involvement or physical IT involvement is required. Everything can be managed from here. So here I have gone to home and devices. So if you see this option called autopilot reset, and let's say that the user has, I can even retire and wipe this thing as well if I want to. But let's say that Marshall has left the company, and another user, let's say, any other user XYZ has come, uh, and he wants a machine, and the requirements that this machine should be assigned to that new user. I will just, as admin, I will click on autopilot reset, and this will take care of resetting the machine and giving the new user an out of the box experience. And if I want, I can have compliance policies. I can deploy, I can manage how the machine should work with for a particular user. So I can define policies, I can define what uh, you know application should be installed on that. So in a way it works like a policy, but better, because it's a cloud experience and it gives you more feature, I would say. So yeah, that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can just leave that comment, and I will try to reply to that comment as well. And in the next video I'll be showing how to autopilot a hybrid giant machine. So until then, take care and bye bye.